My dearly chosen ones, the message is a decree for you, not just a warning, but a spiritual sentence. This is one of those revelations that, if it could manifest physically, would be like a mousetrap closing the moment the predator gets too close. What I'm hearing from the higher realms is undeniable. The sentence that was carried out in the astral is now descending into the physical. The consequences are on their way, and there's no way to escape them now. This message is for someone who has survived wars that most couldn't even describe. You, who carry spiritual scars like survival badges, like those soldiers who return from battle covered in medals, each one marking a fight endured, a conflict survived. But today, this is not about you. Today we're talking about someone who also bears marks, but on the darker side. Someone who climbed ranks, earned titles, and gained positions within the shadow realm, not through honor, but through spiritual crimes, heavy crimes, acts committed with one goal: to destroy, manipulate, harvest, and steal. And chosen one, if your spirit is already feeling this truth, if something inside you knows that this word is for you, I want you to seal this recognition right now in the comments. Right, Spirit is exposing them. Let the spirit realm witness your awareness. Let the universe know that you're awake and aligned. And if you're ready to dive deeper into this message, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, because what you're about to hear might shift the way you see your entire spiritual journey from this day forward. They thought they had time. They believed that disappearing into the shadows, licking their wounds, and hiding away would somehow buy them safety from what was coming. But the spirit realm doesn't forget. The entities they once called on, the very forces they tried to manipulate, have been hunting them like predators, stalking wounded prey. While you were regaining your strength, while you were reclaiming your peace, this person was spiraling deeper into sickness, obsession, and spiritual collapse. Their health has declined. Their mind has been tormented. And yet, even with all these warnings, they still believed they had unfinished business with you. For a while, it probably felt like something had lifted from your energy field, like the air was clearer, like the spiritual pressure had eased. But what Spirit wants you to know is that wasn't the end. That brief season of peace wasn't the final chapter. It was just the eye of the storm. Because even though their last attacks had backfired, even though the energy they sent came crashing back on them, justice hadn't yet been served. The scales of spiritual law hadn't fully tipped. There was still a debt hanging over their head, still a sentence waiting to manifest in the physical. So Spirit set the perfect trap, a false opening, a setup so precise, so tailored to their specific weaknesses, that there was no way they could resist it. It wasn't just greed. It wasn't just pride. It was the obsession, the hunger. The same lust and energetic fixation they projected onto you was now turned against them. Spirit twisted the very knife they once used to stab you. The call that went out to them wasn't random. It was calibrated. It was coded into their light body, triggering every unresolved desire and ego wound they carried, making them believe, just for a moment, that they still had access to you. They didn't see it coming. They thought it was their opportunity to reclaim power, to re-establish control, to slip back into your energy field and restart the siphoning cycle all over again. The delusion was so thick, they believed Spirit was giving them another chance to bind you, to manipulate your heart, to entangle you emotionally or even physically again. They didn't know that what was really happening was their final exposure. Spirit was dragging them out of the shadows, forcing them to walk straight into the light, so they could be caught in the act, red-handed. And that's exactly what happened. They responded to the bait, driven by their lust, their greed, and the festering obsession they had tried to bury for so long. They stepped forward. right into the spiritual spotlight, completely exposed, completely vulnerable. Their team, the very people and entities who once empowered them, knew this was a death mission. They warned them. They told them, "You're not going to survive this. Your accolades, your fake ranks, won't protect you this time." But it didn't matter. The pull was too strong. The setup was too perfect. And now, there's no way out. They stepped forward, believing the door had reopened. But it was never a door. It was a mirror, a perfectly crafted reflection of their own hunger, their own ego, and their own desperation. Spirit didn't leave cracks in your field, Chosen One. Spirit created a mirror that would show them exactly what they've become. While they believed they were moving toward you, they were really walking deeper into their own shadow. Every step they took was another layer of spiritual evidence against them. This was never about love. It was never about reconciliation. It was a setup, an orchestrated moment where the hunter would become the hunted. They thought they were moving closer to you, Chosen One, but they were only moving closer to their own exposure. Spirit needed to catch them, not just in intent, but in action. Because when they attacked you in the past, they did it under layers of illusion, hiding behind false masks, manipulating timelines, bending energies. They thought they could escape accountability. Not this time. In the higher realms, they're now fully visible. Their energetic signature, fully recorded. Their false ranks, stripped away. Every accolade they once wore like armor, now falling off like dead skin. The same team that once backed them now stands silent, watching, powerless. Some have already abandoned them. Others are just waiting for the inevitable collapse. The weight of their own choices is closing in like a spiritual prison with no doors, no exits, no shadows left to hide in. What they didn't realize is that the version of you they targeted back then no longer exists. Chosen One, you've evolved, you've ascended. The broken fragments they once preyed on have been gathered, healed, reassembled into a new, stronger whole. The reflection they're chasing, it's not even you anymore. It's an outdated version of you that only exists in their obsession. Meanwhile, your current frequency, your divine authority, stands like a wall they can't penetrate. And now, the moment Spirit was waiting for has arrived. They've been caught mid-act, crossing spiritual boundaries they were explicitly warned not to touch again. This wasn't a casual mistake. This was a deliberate move. A last, desperate lunge at your light, driven by lust, pride, and the distorted hunger they planted within themselves. The trap didn't just close, it slammed shut with cosmic force and spirit, along with your ancestors, your guides, and every watcher in the higher realms is watching them fall. Publicly, spiritually, irreversibly. They've entered a no-return zone. Spirit made sure of it. This wasn't just about catching them. It was about exposing every layer of deception they built. They once prided themselves on being untouchable, hidden, slippery in the spirit realm. Every time you tried to break free, they shifted timelines, played with mirrors, and blurred spiritual identities. But this time, there's no blurring, no shadows to run back to. Spirit created an energetic spotlight so bright, even entities from realms they once called home are stepping back, refusing to interfere. The sickest part? They still believed, even in their final moments of exposure, that they could rewrite the outcome. Somewhere in the back of their twisted mind, they told themselves, "I still have a chance with the Chosen One." They thought they could re-enter your heart space, manipulate your compassion, or play on your old wounds. But they miscalculated one massive truth. You're not broken anymore. That door no longer exists. The emotional cracks they once exploited have been sealed with divine gold. Your frequency now acts as a repellent to everything they represent, even their own spiritual team. Those dark entities and collaborators that once empowered them saw the disaster coming. They whispered warnings. They showed signs. Some even withdrew their energy completely, detaching themselves from what they knew was an unavoidable downfall. This person ignored every single warning, driven by a toxic mix of ego and obsession. Their greed for your light blinded them. They thought their old tricks would still work on the new you, but Spirit had already set the final stage. Chosen One, what's happening now is cosmic law unfolding in real time. The same traps they set for you are now snapping back onto them. The same rituals, the same manipulations, the same energy harvest techniques they once used to siphon from your spirit are now imploding within their own field. They're choking on the same spiritual poison they brewed for you. Every step they take trying to escape only tightens the cord Spirit has wrapped around them. Their movements are being recorded, not just by Spirit, but by the karmic forces that govern balance across realms. What they're realizing, too late, is that Spirit needed them to act, needed them to take that final step over the line. Because intentions alone weren't enough for full judgment to be rendered. They had to be caught mid-act, crossing spiritual boundaries that had been clearly closed and sealed. Spirit orchestrated every detail so there would be no loopholes, no spiritual gray areas, no false narratives they could hide behind later. This is a divine setup, crafted with surgical precision by forces far greater than anything they've ever understood. The energy around them now feels like thick, choking smoke. Every movement they make is sluggish. Their light body is heavy, weighed down by layers of karmic residue that won't lift. They're trying to call on their old tricks, shifting timelines, cloaking their energy, calling on entities for help, but nothing is working. Spirit has revoked all their access. They're in spiritual quarantine now. The Chosen One is untouchable to them, and no matter how many psychic doors they try to open, they're met with nothing but walls. Meanwhile, you're walking in a new level of authority, Chosen One. You may not even fully realize it yet, but the spiritual codes within you have shifted. The power that once seemed distant now radiates from your core. Every step you take sends ripples through the spirit realm. The same realm where they once moved like a predator now rejects them like a foreign toxin. Even the energies that once welcomed them have turned cold, silent, non-responsive. They're completely alone. What's happening to them now is both psychological and spiritual. They're questioning their own sanity, seeing visions that aren't real, hearing voices that used to guide them, now mocking them. This is spiritual isolation at its most extreme. Spirit has placed them in a metaphysical echo chamber where their own fears, obsessions, and guilt replay endlessly. They're trying to reach out to old allies, but there's no answer. Trying to tap into old power sources, but there's nothing left. The pipeline is dry, and while they spiral, Spirit is showing them flashes of you. Chosen One, your image is burning into their mind like a brand. Not because of love, not because of longing, but because Spirit is forcing them to watch your ascension while they descend. They're witnessing your glow, your peace, your elevation. And every time they see you, the pain multiplies. This is part of their sentence, to watch the one they tried to destroy rise above every trap, every curse, every spiritual assault they ever sent your way. Every attempt they made to manipulate your timeline, every ritual they performed, every word curse they spoke over your life, it's all returning now, multiplied. Spirit isn't just reversing the energy. Spirit is amplifying it, folding every layer of injustice, every ounce of stolen energy, and sending it back like a tidal wave. And the worst part? They're aware of it. They can feel the buildup. The energetic pressure around them is thickening by the hour, making it hard for them to even breathe without being reminded of the destruction they caused. They thought they could time this, thought they could choose when to re-enter your life, thought they had the luxury of planning their next move against you. Chosen one. But Spirit had already locked their fate the moment they crossed your boundaries again. This wasn't about free will anymore. This was about cosmic justice. The universe allowed them just enough rope to hang themselves spiritually. And now, as they look around, trying to find an exit, they're realizing there's no door, no window, no escape route left. The entities that once empowered them, the shadows they called on, the spirits they bargained with, have now turned their backs. They're no longer allies. They've become witnesses to this downfall. Some are even mocking them, laughing at their desperation, feeding off their fear like parasites, consuming what little life force remains. Chosen one, you need to know this. While they suffer, none of this energy is touching you. Spirit has placed a divine shield around you, and the echo of their collapse can't penetrate your peace. What's unraveling now is a full karmic collapse, not just in the spirit realm, but soon, very soon, in the physical. Relationships they manipulated will start crumbling. Opportunities they stole will slip through their fingers. The health they once took for granted will deteriorate. Finances will dry up. Every stolen resource, every fake connection, every door they forced open through dark means will now slam shut in their face. Spirit is making it clear, what they built on lies will not stand. And here's something Spirit keeps repeating. This was their last attempt. This was their final chance to choose the path of repentance, to step away, to stop the cycle. But their pride wouldn't let them. Their obsession wouldn't let them. Even after every sign, every warning, every sleepless night haunted by entities they called upon, they still thought they could win against you, chosen one. But now, the sentencing has begun, and there's no reversing what Spirit has set in motion. They're starting to realize that what they fell for wasn't even you. It was a projection, a false light engineered by Spirit to mimic your energy just enough to lure them out. That's the irony. They weren't even chasing the real you. They were chasing an illusion, a reflection of their own obsession. The same obsession they cultivated and fed for so long. Spirit used their own desires as the bait. Every step they took toward this fabricated opening was another nail in the coffin they built for themselves. Now that they've walked straight into the spiritual spotlight, there's no turning back. Their energetic signature has been stamped and recorded in realms far above their comprehension. The karmic courts are in session. Spirit has assigned watchers, guides, and enforcers to oversee the execution of their sentence. Chosen one, your ancestors stand in full formation. The divine council that governs your lineage is present, observing, bearing witness to the downfall of someone who dared to manipulate sacred timelines and touch what was never theirs. Their arrogance was their final downfall. They believed that because they once held temporary spiritual rank, they were still untouchable. But rank in the shadow realm is not the same as divine authority. And what they're realizing, far too late, is that you, chosen one, were the true spiritual authority all along. You didn't need to chase them. You didn't need to retaliate. All you had to do was stand in alignment. Spirit did the rest. Spirit baited. Spirit exposed. And now, Spirit will execute the judgment. Even now, as they sit in spiritual confinement, they're replaying old memories of you, moments they once twisted to fit their narrative, conversations they manipulated, emotions they weaponized against you. But this time, Spirit is replaying those memories with clarity. They're seeing their own cruelty, their own lies, their own hands crafting the chains they tried to place around you. It's like a spiritual rewind, except now they can't skip scenes or edit the footage. Every detail, every betrayal, is crystal clear. And when they try to reach out for help, when they cry out for the dark forces that once stood by them, all they'll find is silence. Spirit has cut their spiritual lifeline. The energies that once answered their calls, now ignore them. The spirits they once fed and served now see them as a liability. Even the parasitic entities they hosted are abandoning ship. This is spiritual isolation at its rawest form. Chosen one, you never needed revenge. Spirit's justice is more complete than anything you could have imagined. Now comes the part they never expected, the collapse of their own identity, the titles they wore, the roles they played, even the spiritual masks they used to manipulate others. All of it is disintegrating. They're standing in front of Spirit stripped of everything they thought made them powerful. The energy they used to cloak themselves, gone. The voices that used to guide them, silenced. What's left is just a hollow vessel, consumed by fear and confusion. They're looking at their reflection, and for the first time, they don't recognize the person staring back, the very parasite they once controlled. The energy they weaponized against others has now fused with them. They've become indistinguishable from the entity they summoned. There's no more separation between the manipulator and the tool of manipulation. Spirit allowed this merger for one reason: to make the judgment complete. Chosen one, Spirit is showing you that when people tamper with divine law, their punishment becomes their identity. They can't outrun this. They can't detach. They can't cleanse it away. They've become the curse they once sent toward you. Meanwhile, the timeline is shifting in your favor, Chosen One. Doors that once felt stuck are opening. Blockages that weighed heavy on your spirit are dissolving. Opportunities are emerging from places you never expected. And while you may still feel echoes of their energy trying to hover near your field, remember, it's just residue. The real danger, the true threat, has already been neutralized. Spirit wants you to walk forward now, knowing that their chapter in your story has officially ended. Their last desperate attempt will be to reach out energetically, through dreams, intrusive thoughts, or emotional waves, trying to trigger any reaction from you. But Spirit has already sealed your field. Your ancestors, guides, and the divine have built a wall of light around you. Every attempt they make will now bounce back onto their own energy, multiplying their confusion and pain. Watching your rise will become their ongoing punishment. Spirit will use your progress as a mirror, forcing them to face the life they could have had but sabotaged. They are now trapped in a karmic loop of their own making. Every manipulative thought, every act of deceit, every obsession they held toward you is now turning inward like chains tightening. They're spiritually grounded, disconnected from old power sources, and abandoned even by former allies. Their whole system of control is collapsing, and the judgment isn't just personal, it's collective. The entire structure that once enabled their actions is crumbling under divine law. And the deepest truth, the real spiritual authority, was always yours. The light they tried to steal was never theirs to own. Spirit waited for the right moment to reveal your true power. And now, that moment has come. Their downfall has begun. Financial loss, isolation, spiritual exile. But for you, Chosen One, this is your rising season. Every seed of pain they planted has turned into unstoppable spiritual strength. Spirit honors you now. Walk boldly. Stay aligned. Their chapter is closed. The next chapter belongs to you. Chosen One, if this message revealed something hidden or confirmed what your spirit already sensed, I want you to seal this victory now in the comments. Write, "They fell for the trap." Declare to the spirit realm that no weapon formed against you will prosper, and that the throne they lost was never meant for them, but for you. If this word strengthened your spirit, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell because what's activating inside you now is unstoppable. To everyone who supports us on Buy Me a Coffee, thank you. Your love helps us keep creating deeper and more powerful content for this Chosen Ones community. If you want to support the channel, the link is in the first pinned comment below. Keep this momentum going. Watch the next video that's appearing on your screen or dive into the full Secrets of the Chosen playlist and step even deeper into your divine power. Thank you for being here. See you in the next video, Chosen One.